It says we're live. Are we really live? I'm Jennifer Takagi with Takagi Consulting, and it is bonus session 1 of the Superstar Manager Masterclass. If you've joined us live, will you please click the link at the top of the post and put your name? So when you comment, I know who you are. If you are unable to join us live and you're catching the replay, please comment that you're on the replay. I hope the sound is good. I don't see anybody live at the second to let me know. Here we go. I'll put that up there. Yeah, if you're here, let me know. So, day 6 of the masterclass. And if you notice, I have yet another background. I had my home office. I had a conference room of a girlfriend's office. I had a hotel room, and now I'm at our trailer in the lake, and I had to rearrange stuff to make this all happen. But that's what you have to do. Got up early this morning. Those of you who know, my puppy had surgery yesterday morning. Had a heart murmur. They put in a plug and fixed that. And so we had to drive home today, and it was just over a 6-hour drive. She did great, never made a peep till we stopped for a bathroom break. I did not get her out of the pet taxi. And of course, I parked next to a car with an older woman who had 2 dogs, one in the front seat that was quiet, the one in the back seat went nuts. She had the window down. He tried to come out and eat me. So when she heard him barking, she started barking, but kept her kind of quiet, kept her kind of calm. She was fine. We made it here safely. She ate, she walked around a little bit, and she's back in bed. So the story of the little dog turd. She's so cute. Did you see the picture? She's so cute. Love her. Superstar Manager Masterclass. And I tell you about all the places I've been for the different videos, just because I want you to know it doesn't really matter what happens, you still show up. And when you're a manager, that's what's expected of you. You're expected to show up, put out, get the work done, right? It's a big responsibility, and that's what we have to do as managers. So, quick recap of the week if you happen to miss an episode. Monday was the art of influence. How to influence people to get them what you need to do without being a nag, right? Without micromanaging. We need to influence people by engaging them and having them be part of the decisions. Have them be part of the decisions. Day 2 was the science of scorecards, the importance of goals. Not only goals for the organization, but making sure your team understands how the goals work for them. Like, why are they doing the work that they're doing? Because it all comes together. If they don't do their job, the goals and the mission of the organization aren't met either. It's a very important piece. And then the coaching framework. I have coaches. I've had multiple coaches. Sometimes I've had multiple coaches at one time. And athletes all have coaches. Speakers have coaches. Actors have coaches. I think I'm going to say Anthony Hopkins. That's who I'm going to say. Anthony Hopkins. I think I heard he has 9 coaches. I tried to Google it and look it up, and I'm usually really good at research, but for some reason I couldn't find it. But he has a coach when he's on stage. He has a coach if he's doing film, because the way you act on film and stage are very different, apparently. He has a voice coach, a nutritionist, one for fitness and exercise kind of deal, so he can have the stamina to do what all he does. So we all need coaches, and so do your employees. So do your employees, and they need you to step up and be the coach for them. And the way you coach them the best is knowing where the gaps are. Knowing where the gaps are and knowing where you need to help fill that. Is it through encouragement? Is it through training? Is it through giving them a step-by-step list of things to do and when to do it? Then we went into the director debrief, how important it is to have a conversation with your director and let them know what's going on. My husband's in and out because that's what we do. So letting your director know what's going on, letting them know how your employees are getting things done. Be sure to sing their praises, right? Because if you sing the praises of your employees, it is going to do nothing but reflect back on you and what a great job you have done, because your employees are not going to perform well typically if they don't have a good manager. So talk them up. Let him or her, your boss, know what your people are doing to meet the goals and get the work done. On the same side, make sure you sing your own praises. Make sure your boss knows what you've been doing to help your team get the goals met and get to where they're going. Yesterday, we talked about culture, and I shared about my experience at K-State University's veterinary hospital and the great treatment that my puppy got and all the phone calls I got. Yesterday, I think I got 5 calls, and it might have been 6, but I know I got at least 3 from the cardiac surgeon himself, and then I think it was 3 from 1 from a vet tech and 2 from the veterinary students that were on Shotzi's case. So to me, that is huge customer service. Chick-fil-A, they're amazing how they make things happen. They have a culture of customer service. So what is the culture in your organization? Is it a fit for you? Are you hiring people and selecting people that fit the culture? If you have a very rigid culture, and I mean that in a good way, a rigid culture, you have policies, you have procedures, everything is followed very deliberately. And I'm just going to say maybe an attorney's office, not the ones like you see on TV, but an attorney's office, or possibly an accountant or bookkeeping. It is important that they're very regimented, that they follow all the rules and policies and procedures. And then you hire someone who wants to go on their own direction and they want to come up with new ways of doing everything. And if you do it a new way, then you go to jail, right? Because it doesn't fit. That doesn't fit the culture. I went to Zappos. I was so fortunate to get to go to Zappos in Las Vegas. And we were taken on a tour of their offices. And everybody's in blue jeans and t-shirts and hair in ponytails, whether it was a man or a woman, didn't really matter. Long hair in ponytails, tattoos everywhere. I could really appreciate a good looking tattoo. I don't really want one, but I could appreciate them. Very laid back atmosphere. They don't even have team leaders. Like they have this team that's in charge of whatever. They don't even have team leaders. They pick who's going to act as team leader from month to month, if they even want one, right? Very laid back. So I'm walking around just mind blown because of course that was never been my experience. And when we are going to leave, the business coach I was working with at the time is leading us out. I was on a mastermind, and she says, "Did you notice they didn't take us up to the 3rd floor?" I got to thinking about it. Yeah, we did most of the 1st floor, a lot of the no, we didn't go to the 3rd floor. That's where the accounting and bookkeeping people are. And she said, just know it probably doesn't look like this. It's probably not as lax as this. So you're going to hire different people for different jobs. Just because somebody is not a good fit in your division, reporting to you, meeting your goals, does not mean they're not a good fit for somebody else. I loved it best when I heard that person needs to take their genius and be brilliant someplace else, but it's not happening here. Sometimes it's not a good fit. Sometimes it's not a good fit. Sometimes they just need to be in a different department. Maybe your department is too rigid and they need to be in a department that's coming up with research and development and innovation versus research and development, right? Because development, you get pretty rigid on that. So just know if somebody's working for you and it doesn't seem they're working out, may not be the right fit. It may not be the right culture. If you work in an organization where the culture is bad, the culture is bad. We've all been there. Unfortunately, we've probably all worked someplace where the culture wasn't very good. You can affect change of the culture in your section, in your division, whatever the unit is that you oversee. You have the opportunity to affect change right there. Other people in other divisions are going to see it and they're going to want to work for you if you come in with the right attitude every day, if you build your people up. I used to say that it was my responsibility to shield my employees from what happened above. Yes, I could tell them what happened, but I didn't necessarily have to use all the same colorful language in sharing it. Sometimes I did, let's be honest. But a lot of times I did not. Like I kept that like that was a management thing versus dumping on employees. And we've all heard the phrase it rolls downhill, right? It comes from above, whatever the rule is, the problem, whatever, and it dumps at the lowest level. And I really felt like my job was to stop it at me, filter, and then share the information in a much more positive way. And I got a lot better results from that than screaming and yelling and acting a fool and slamming my hand on the desk like my superiors did, right? There's no reason for that. You have to hold it together, right? Put your big girl panties on, your big boy shorts, and you have to act like an adult every day because you're a leader, you're a manager, and that's what you do. So, some questions I have been asked about the program I put together, New Manager Mastery. If you're interested in registering, it's newmanagermastery.com. We're going to start the first week of June. It is a 6-month program. And so some questions come up about, what is it? Why do I need this? Why do I not need this? And as far as the day of the week and the time of it, when we get our group together, because we're starting a new fresh group, when we get the group together, we'll kind of do a poll and see what date works better and what time of day. I have done this Superstar Manager Masterclass at noon Central, 1 Eastern. Had good turnout. Now I'm trying it at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll see how that works. And if people have recommendations, please put in the comments if you have a recommendation for a time that works better. I did a training on the law of attraction on Saturday mornings for 3 weeks. People love that, but I'm going to be real honest with you. Saturdays and Sundays don't work really well for me. I do them so that I can get the engagement when I'm doing a launch like this and sharing my program. But as far as a consistent weekly training every week for 6 months, it's not going to be on a Saturday. I'm sorry, it's just not. But to make up for that, what we do have is every training will be videoed and you will have access to the replays. And if you aren't on and you have questions, you can post them in the private Facebook group so that you can still get engagement, interaction, and I'll have office hours. So we'll get the core group best time for the office hours, and I will be on waiting for your questions an hour a week. And if we need to expand it, we can expand it, but we're going to start with that. So what are some questions? One question I've gotten on more than one occasion is, why should I have to pay for training myself? Why should I have to pay for training? Shouldn't my organization pay for it? Fair question. Very fair question. Whenever I went to training for the organization I was with the longest, it was how to do something very specific for them. It wasn't personal development. It was very little professional development. It was how to use this system to do what they wanted done in the end. It was, you're now a supervisor. This is what you need to do to keep up with your employee reviews, annual reviews and mid-year reviews. And when they're not performing, what you need to do for progressive discipline. It wasn't necessarily how to get them to do what you needed them to do. So number one, I didn't necessarily get the skills that I needed to manage and lead a team. So there was kind of a miss there. There was a gap for me and for most of my friends. And I'm imagining if you're watching this, you have a similar gap in your organization. The next piece of that is sometimes an organization ends up with a turnover and a whole group comes in new at one time. So let's say you have 5 or 6 new people in your office at once, and they all get the exact same management and leadership training. The next promotion becomes available, and then what happens? You've had the exact same training. If you invest in yourself, in your own personal development, then you're going to stand out above and beyond everyone else. You're going to stand up above and beyond everybody else. The other thing is, if you go to a training, and I've been to myself, and it's one day, like you leave the office, you go to training for one day. Woohoo! It was, I think, dealing with difficult people. I was so excited to get to go. What happens is you go to that day-long training, and then you have no accountability, no follow-up, no nothing. And then you forget when you went, what you learned, how to implement it. You might have notes, you might have a notebook, but you're not exactly sure what they meant by this statement or this practice, right? You don't know how to implement it. Well, the benefit of being in a long-term coaching program, which I believe 6 months is a long-term commitment on both our parts, you have the opportunity to implement what I learned or what I've taught, what you've learned. You learned about influencing. Well, what if we dig deeper into influencing employees? What if we set up a whole like plan of action of how you're going to do that? And then you've got accountability. You have accountability in the group with the other people in the program, and then with me because I'm going to be available every week. If you're going to transform, and that's a big word, transform. If you're going to transform into the leader and the manager that you want to be, and who's going to stand out in your organization, it's a transformation. It's not learn one thing and move on down the road. It's a transformation. You're transforming who you are, how you act, how you interact. And that takes time. That's not a one class with a long lunch, because I always want lunch. It's not a one class, one day with a long lunch and you're transforming into a new person. It takes time. The other question I often get is, why Jennifer? Like, of all the programs out there, of all the coaches and mentors and leaders and guides, whatever, whatever you want to call this space, why me? Well, the number one reason is I've been in your shoes. I've been in your shoes. There may or may not be a situation that you've had happen that I haven't, but I've had a lot of situations happen over the years. And so I bring my perspective of what happened to me, with me, how I handled it, and almost more importantly is how I could have handled it differently and better. Differently and better. So it's not like some theoretical conversation. Chances are I've lived it. Chances are I've lived it. I have really invested in myself quite heavily, I might add, to become certified. I'm a certified coaching specialist. I'm certified in DISC behavioral profiles, change style management, 3 levels of law of attraction, wealth practitioner, and advanced wealth practitioner, as well as Jack Canfield's Train the Trainer program on the success principles. So I've lived a lot, I've learned a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I bring all of that together to share with you. Why? I don't want you to have the bad experiences I have had. And I want to help create outstanding managers at the ground level, that first tier manager So by the time you get to be the CEO, the C-suite, the corner office, whatever it is in your organization, you do it well and you do it with integrity and you make sure everybody beneath you acts with integrity too. So that's really important to me. I want to share what I've learned and I want to make sure that everybody does it better. I want you to do it better than I did. I want you to do it better than your immediate boss. I want you to be the best of the best. So that's why me. And the transformation you can expect. That's the next question because it is a transformation. I like to say that I help new managers develop their skills and build their confidence so that they can be a superstar manager. That's it. In order to transform, we have to practice. In order to transform, we have to map out a plan. In order to transform you into a superstar manager, we have to make sure that you have developed the skills you need. It's like going to the gym and building muscles. You have to practice. It has to be ingrained and it has to transform you from a caterpillar into a butterfly. And what you can expect if you put in the work, then you're going to grow personally, you're going to grow professionally, and you are going to be able to interact with your team, with your friends, with your family, with your children, with your partner, with your spouse on a much better level because you will have evolved and you will have grown. So if you're ready to make that choice today to invest in yourself, it is $350 a month, or I believe $19.80 if you pay in full. The landing page is newmanagermastery.com, and you can fill that out. If you have any questions, send me a DM. Send me a DM or call me on Facebook. After this, I'm probably going to be not available for the rest of today because I have to go to a birthday party in a few minutes. But tomorrow morning, after 10 a.m. Central Time, please call me, send me a DM. Let's talk. Let me answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to let you go so you can get on with your Saturday afternoon. Please, if you catch the replay, leave a comment. Let us know that you were on the replay. And I will see you tomorrow, Sunday, 5 Eastern, 4 Central. And we're going to talk about the mindset of a superstar manager. I'm Jennifer Takagi, and I will connect with you tomorrow. Have a great evening.